Hi, everyone. I'm Heather Poduska, star maker for entrepreneurs who want to unlock their potential, command any stage, and make blockbuster profits. Welcome to Thrive, the show where I bring you tips, resources, and people to help you create a brand that makes you happy and profitable. Here we go.
Hi everyone, I'm Heather Poduska and welcome to this episode of Thrive, how to create a standout style with my guest, Ginger Burr. Ginger Burr is the president of Total Image Consultants, where she teaches women from around the world from all walks of life how to navigate the styles of the season so they look and feel great. She's a speaker and author and has been featured on many platforms and outlets, media outlets, including Fox News, the Boston Globe, Forbes Magazine, CNN.com, More Magazine, just to name a few. She's the creator of a one-of-a-kind coaching program for style, self-esteem, and body image called Who Taught You How to Dress? And she's also the author of the book That's So You, How to Create a Look You Love with Beauty, Style, and Grace. I loved having Ginger on the show. I've known her for many years. She was my image consultant back when I first started getting interested in color and image and style. And I've known her for many years, and she is a true veteran of style and image and knows her stuff inside and out. So today we have a great conversation about what an image consultant is, what they do, and we debunk some of the misconceptions about what it is to work with a stylist. Well, a lot of misconceptions people have about how much money it costs and what a stylist actually does. We also talk about how to choose power pieces so that you look and feel empowered. Ginger also gives us her tips on how to create a style that looks amazing on stage. I work with a lot of speakers and people who want to be in the spotlight, and image is a huge part of making your mark as a personal brand when you are presenting and performing. So if you are a speaker or performer, you're going to want to tune into that part of the interview. We also talk about Ginger's stealth secret, her style secret for standing apart and standing out in a crowd, a sea of people that are doing one thing, and how you can zig when most people are zagging and catch the attention of the right audience. We also talk about how to use, Ginger talks about how to use visualization to have successful shopping experiences. Not everybody loves to shop, but if you use this visualization, it really helps you zone in and get the kinds of results that feel good to you. And finally, Ginger shares with us her secret sauce of what colors look good on everyone. So if you're not sure what colors look good on you, if you listen to these tips from Ginger, you can pick one of these colors and it'll probably look great on you. As I said, Ginger is a veteran. She's so generous with her expertise and a lovely, lovely colleague that I was thrilled to have on the show. So if you are someone who wants to be a speaker and you're listening to this going, oh, I want to be a speaker. I want to know what styles to wear when I'm speaking on stage. I want to tell you about my new private coaching programs because they're designed specifically for people who want to create a stellar personal brand so they get booked and paid to speak. So if you're interested in learning how to create a profitable business model for speaking, if you want to know how to hone your presentation skills, how to tell your brand story, how to really put your hook in the market so that people remember and recognize you, and really how to create that celebrity buzz for your personal brand, you're going to want to check these programs out. You can find it by going to heatherpoduska.com and click on the consulting tab, and you can find out all about it. I would love to help you create your own star brand. And speaking of stars, let's get back to the episode. You're going to love Ginger Burr. I hope you enjoy this episode of Thrive. Hi, I'm Heather Poduska, star maker to the entrepreneurs who want to unlock their potential, command any platform so they can grow their business. Welcome to this episode of Thrive, the show where I bring you tips, resources, and people to help you create a brand that makes you happy and profitable. You are in for high value content coming to you from an industry leader who is growing her business, making an impact, and rocking her brand. I am so excited to have my special guest here today, Ginger Burr. Ginger is the president of Total Image Consultants, where she helps women from around the world navigate and sometimes avoid the styles of the season so they can look and feel their best. Ginger is a renowned speaker in the fields of style and image and has been featured on national platforms like CNN.com, Bloomberg Business Week, Forbes Magazine, Wealth Magazine, and Fox TV News. She has directed corporate seminars for some of the world's most prestigious organizations, including Harvard Business School and the U.S. Army. Ginger has created her own one-of-a-kind self-esteem, body image, and style coaching program called Who Taught You How to Dress? For women to teach them how to unlock their obstacles and give them the tools they need to create a wardrobe that makes them look and feel fabulous, all in the comfort of their own home. She's also the author of That's So You, How to Create a Look You Love with Beauty, Style, and grace. And no one has more beauty, style, and grace than Ginger herself. So thank you so much for being here, Ginger.
Thank you, Heather. I'm delighted to be here.
And that is quite a resume. I mean, we've known each other for a long time
we
now.
have 10 years or so. Yes.
Yeah. And I didn't even know all of those wonderful things about you.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
So talk to us a little bit for people. So I've known you a long time. I first met you as a client many years ago, and you did my colors for me, my personal colors. And then I got trained as an image consultant, and then we were colleagues and have seen each other around in different organizational meetings. And now we're full circle again. And so I've known you a long time, but not everybody in my audience knows you. Talk to us a little bit about what it is that you do for clients.
Mm-hmm. Well, I work exclusively with women, and I've been doing this for 28 years, so a very long time. I like to think that, or I know that I do actually, empower women. Mm-hmm. I help them to go from a feeling of dressing in a wardrobe that's not horrible, good enough, decent, okay, boring. You know, I'm sure you hear all of these things as well. Mm-hmm. To one where they say, one of my clients, she says, I smile every day when I get dressed now. It's easy. She's got a 2-year-old. She doesn't want to be thinking about, okay, should I wear that with that? Or does that go with that? And then what shoes do I wear? She wants to be able to put things on and go. She doesn't want to have to make it be cumbersome and hard. And so she can get on with the rest of her day. That's what I do. I give women the tools to feel really great about how they look and then show them how to use those to create a wardrobe they love.
That's awesome. And feel great too. So it's right. I mean,
yes.
So that she's running around with her 2-year-old and feeling like I'm a hot mama.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. And also just not having to think about it. Right. She can do those other things and just know in her heart, I feel really good. I like how I look. I'm ready to go.
Right. So what are some of the misconceptions that people have about image consulting and what it can do for you and why you should use it or why you shouldn't use it?
I get this one question every once in a while from people who say, so you work with celebrities? I'm like, I would have been out of business 27 and a half years ago. If I only worked with celebrities. I work with your average woman. So that's one of the misconceptions. And the other is that, I only take people shopping at Armani and the, real high-end stores and boutiques. And sure, I can go to those stores. I also go to Dress Barn and, Macy's and thrift stores. And I'll go anywhere that someone wants me to go because I believe you can find a wardrobe anywhere that fits your budget. It's just knowing what to choose.
Well, I think that's a really good point because you can have something from Target even that looks amazing.
Yes.
And nobody knows.
Yes.
And the key is understanding your body.
Right.
Your own infrastructure, right? I mean, once you understand that, then you know what to look for, but you have to know what that is for you first, right?
Yes. I did a workshop the other day, and for the first half of the workshop, I was at my house. I hold it in my studio. So I was there, and I had on this pair of shoes that cost me about $200. Mm-hmm. In the afternoon, I put on another pair of shoes that cost me $19. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, this, and no one would ever have known looking at either pair, but I wanted them to see that you can shop in any of those places. It's a matter of the selections that you make for your body type, your coloring, your lifestyle, all of those kinds of things.
So let me ask another question about that. So nobody knew but you, right? That mm-hmm. was the difference between a $200 pair of shoes and a $19 pair of shoes.
Yes.
But how did it make you feel, and how do you think it makes people feel to invest in high-end pieces? Do you think it makes a difference in how they carry themselves and how they interact with other people when they're dressing with power pieces?
I think, again, power pieces can come at any price point. I think it's all about how, if you feel really great about what that piece is doing for you and how it's completing an outfit, then I think whether it's a high-end investment piece or not so much, a lesser cost piece, I think both are good. I think it's great to invest in pieces that will last a long time. I do have an issue with pieces that, the whole eco-friendly thing where things are going to fall apart in 3 seconds when you buy them. So I think it's really good to look at how things are made. For instance, I have a Stella McCartney handbag that I got at a consignment shop. And it retailed for $1,000. I got it for about half of that, which was more than I had ever spent on a handbag. And I've had it now for 5 years. I use it every day, all from fall until April. It looks as good as when I got it. That handbag owes me nothing. Nothing. And that was an incredible investment. So yes, I think there are times when spending more on something that you're going to use a lot and that is timeless is very, very money well spent.
So I work a lot with clients who really want to be on a big stage. They want that celebrity factor. What pieces do you think they should focus on to give them that pop, to really give them that sense of self, but also that sense from the outside of recognition of this person has it going on?
Well, I think it's less about specific pieces than it is about finding a style that feels like it really expresses who you are. It's a lot of my work is helping women to dig deep down inside and figure out, who are you? Who's that? What is it about you that makes you unique and special? And then expressing that. For instance, one of my clients, she does a lot of speaking and she wanted a look that felt, this is a woman who's bodacious and just out there with so much energy and so much charm. And we bought her this really fabulous purple outfit. It was great. It was going to look terrific on her on stage, lights up her face. And we went shopping for shoes. And she's looking around at different pumps and things and looking at, okay, black. And I said, no, you are a colorful person. We got her a pair of coral colored shoes.
Wow.
It was a wild combination, but she's a wild woman.
Yeah.
She was rocking it. She loved it. Now that might not have worked on somebody else, even if they were a speaker, but it spoke to her personality. So I think it's about really being authentically you and also not giving into what's going on in the world right now of dressing all in gray and black, which drives me totally crazy.
Oh, yes.
Totally crazy.
Yes.
So really looking at color, looking at the fit of things, making sure that things, even if you didn't spend a huge amount on something, that it looks like you did.
Yeah. Well, that's really key. And I know that one of the things that you're really big into, I'm really big into, is color.
Yes.
And that if something is the right color, it can make something look more expensive because it's really enhancing everything about you.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And you feel better. It's nice to put on a color where your eyes sparkle and your face glows and you just feel like $1,000,000 when you look in the mirror and you stand out from the rest of the crowd. Gives you that competitive edge because everyone else, believe me, these days people are dressing in black and gray.
Yeah,
it's sad. I don't understand.
Well, why do you think that? So what's your theory? Why are people doing that?
I know why. It's because it's easy. There's so much of it out there. It's slimming. It's that whole myth that it's the only slimming color out there. Black always goes with black. People believe that it can look chic even if it's not. It hides dirt. It's easy and everything goes with it. So there's a lot of reason, and there's so much in the store that it's hard sometimes to find the colors, but you have to be committed to finding those colors. I have women who wear all different types of color palettes, and I never can't find something for someone. I might have to dig a little deeper, but I can never not find something.
Well, and also, if you know what your colors are, you also know that there are certain seasons where your color is more available.
Yes.
And then you can kind of plan around that.
Exactly.
If it's something light and more pastel, you might have more luck in the spring or the summer, and then you load up.
Yes.
But I loved what you said about standing out, because in branding, as a brand strategist, that's the whole thing, is finding your authentic look, your authentic message, your authentic value, all of those things. And color really is a really big part of your brand, and having even, online, having the exact hex numbers and letters for the color. So it's not just red, it's that red that is repeatable. And I think it's great. How do you feel about people having within their color palette, having a signature color.
Oh, I think it's a great idea. Yeah. I had one client, she was really funny because she said, you have to go look at my new website. So I went and looked at her website. It was so her. It was so perfect. Yeah. And she said, I took my color palette. I went and found the, whatever those numbers are that you said. Yeah. And she said, I said to my designer, use these.
Yes.
And it's magnificent. It's perfect. It's perfect for her. So I think color is totally critical. And finding the ones that really support who you are, why not look great? I mean, why have colors up there just because they're trendy if they don't make you look spectacular?
So I totally agree. And I think that's a fantastic idea because your face, I mean, branding and the way that the world is going in entrepreneurship, it's really about the personal brand. It's about the identity of the entrepreneur, not necessarily just the products and services. So your face is so important on your website and your marketing materials. So I think it's a fantastic idea to take your personal colors and to your designer and say, let's work with something in here because this is going to really highlight me.
Yes. Now, if you have a partner in your business, it could be tougher.
We just have to find a partner that shares your same coloring.
Yes, that's exactly right. Yes.
So what do you say to people who say, we've had conversations about poor yellow,
Jeez.
Right?
Yes.
What if somebody loves yellow and it's not their color?
Do you mean for their branding or for their style?
Either. You know, like what if, say I wanted to, put up a website and I really wanted to use yellow all over my website because it was cheery and it made me look really bad. What would you say about that? I mean, how do you advise people about stuff like that?
I would say keep it a smaller part of you. If you really have to have yellow in there, find a way to do it so it's, first of all, not surrounding your face in the design element, or maybe find some little portion of your website where it can be featured away from your picture.
And same for your body as well.
Yes. If someone really, really loves yellow, I'll say go buy a handbag in yellow. We have to look at whether it should be a cool or a warm yellow. That would be helpful to know. But do a handbag or maybe a pair of shoes or have a print that has a little bit of yellow, but it's not the predominant color in there. But what I find though is that once people really get used to what colors look great on them, they don't want to compromise.
Yeah.
And so they generally, mostly what I'll say to them is go paint your bathroom yellow. You'll feel great every day.
But you don't want to paint your bathroom yellow because you're going to be looking in the mirror and that's going to be surrounding.
Oh, but bathroom mirrors are usually horrible anyway. So it's never going to be great. So or your dining room or whatever, something. Yes.
But I agree with you. It's totally addictive. When you know your colors, why would you choose anything else? Because then when you look at yourself in those colors, you're like, that looks good. That looks nice.
I had a client, I was doing a group shopping last night for some of my clients, and there was a woman who came and bought a number of things, and she said, well, this will be my red winter. And I mean, she looks spectacular in red, but it seemed like everything that she got had some element of red in it. And that just happened to be what was at the store and what she got that time. But I said, grab it now because who knows, next winter, that shade of red might not be popular.
That's right.
But you'll still have these pieces.
So let me ask you a question around that because I was just doing some shopping. I had a photo shoot recently. So I was shopping for things and, I found a bunch of blouses in my greens and blues that I like. And I just bought a ton of them because they were available. And so what do you advise people, not just around color, but around pieces? Do you say, if you see something, even if you don't need it, grab it?
Well, I say that if you see something that you love and you think, oh my goodness, I really need that. I really want that in my wardrobe, then grab it. If you find you're doing that every other day, probably you need to look at what's going on there. But if you really are out shopping and you see a few pieces here or there that you just know are going to disappear and you may not, like green is not always a popular color in the stores. So you were smart to go and grab those things that were green now. But yes, if your budget can handle it, if your closet can handle it. And if you do truly love it, get it. Get it now.
I'm going to tell my husband that you said that.
Yes.
Well, it seems like every time I go to the mall, I come home with a ball gown. So I could be going there for a computer and I still come home with a ball gown.
I'm impressed. I wish I had places to wear ball gowns.
I manage. Well, that's my point is that I don't necessarily need another ball gown, but they end up in my closet.
Hey, if you build it, they will come.
There you go. There you go. So I need to create my life around my ball gowns.
There you go. I love it.
So one of the things you're talking about is that what else is going on there, right? You said if you're doing that every other day and you're filling your closet with things you don't need, what is going on there? So I know you have this coaching program and, I talked about it in your bio about self-esteem and body image and style. Is that something that you talk to your clients about or that you address in the coaching program of what is driving your shopping?
Well, I talk about it in that program, Who Taught You How to Dress.
Yeah.
Part of that program can be a very introspective personal experience. And then there's also an online forum where women can come on, and I have women from all over the world who will say, hey, I just got this purple coat. What do I wear with it? It's not, either it's not quite in my palette or they don't have a palette or those kinds of things. But the introspective part of it, I think, is critical because so many times we're held back by things that, I call it hurtful comments and unwanted advice that was said to us when we were 5 years old or 12 or 20 or 80 or whatever it was that we took to heart and that has limited us in some way going forward with how we present ourselves visually. And so this looks at, who taught you how to dress? What really, was there somebody who was influential for you growing up? And if so, is the message one you want to keep? Or is it one that needs to be, that was, bless it, thank it, it served a purpose, and then move on to something that's more supportive to you right now? So I do believe that a lot of what holds women back from really expressing who they are authentically and with great enthusiasm is found in what's stuck there internally, in their minds, in their hearts, in their heads.
Yeah. And I think that's true in business building as well.
Yes.
That mindset piece that, what you can do, what you should do, who you should be, who you can be, what you can make, what you should make are all conversations that you have with the many people that live in your head. Yeah. And sometimes they're not helpful people and you need to evict them.
Well, when it comes to body image, a lot of them are not helpful. I have a new client just starting right now, and she has to do an important talk coming up. And she said, I'm so worried we're not going to find the right, she needs some kind of a suit. We're going to find the right kind of a suit. And I said, okay, take a breath. Visualize yourself in the most spectacular suit you've ever seen on you. You don't have to see the specifics. Just feel that feeling of what that would feel like. And then plan on that's what we'll find. Because you need that energy going in. If you go into a store shopping, and I'm sure this is true when you're building a business as well, but if you go into a store shopping saying, nothing ever fits me. Everything's too expensive. I've got big hips, or, I'm too short, or the colors are terrible, or everything, is made badly, or whatever it is. I hear all of these things, as I'm sure you do. You know what you're going to find? Exactly those things. Yeah. Whereas if you go in and say, there's something here for me, I'll find just what I need. The perfect thing is waiting for me over there. I'm going to breathe and just let it happen. I know that there's something that will be great. Then you're more likely to have a positive experience. Even if you do end up leaving the store with nothing, you'll say, okay, wasn't the right store. And you'll be in and out in no time because your energy will not be making you try to find something desperately because you need it.
Yeah. And I think that there's something about that of believing that you can have what you want.
Yes.
Not even that, that the parking space is going to be in front of the store that you need, or that the right dress is going to be on the rack when you get there, but just an internal belief that I can have what I really want.
Yes.
It might not be at this store.
Yes.
It might not be this client. It might not be this business model, whatever it is, but that feeling like I can actually have what I want.
Yes.
Is a huge obstacle that people have to overcome.
Yeah, absolutely. And particularly as we get older, all of those things become a little bit more challenging because we've lost a little bit, sometimes that enthusiasm or we've gotten a little jaded, whether it is in respect to our body or our business. And so we have to bring back that enthusiasm and that belief that we can have whatever we want.
It's so interesting because sometimes for myself, I feel like I have way more of that. I mean, I might have been cockier when I was younger, but I have way more of that belief now than I did when I was younger.
Me too. You've cultivated it. That's why.
Exactly.
You have to cultivate it. If it doesn't come naturally, and I'm sure there are some people for whom that all comes naturally, it didn't necessarily for me, or I lost it at a young age. I had to find it again.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think it comes naturally for anyone unless they've been extraordinarily lucky and have had this support along the way. But I think that the process, it's a gift though, because the process of finding it and cultivating that inner fortitude makes you a better entrepreneur. It makes you braver in your life. It makes you more attractive to other people and makes you happier. I mean,
makes you more understanding too.
Yeah. I mean, it really helps you create this dynamic depth in your brand because you've done the work and you're empathetic towards your clients. I mean, I'm sure that's part of how that book and that coaching program came to fruition for you is that work that you did with yourself.
Yeah, you teach what you have to learn. Right. And that was definitely the case for me. Definitely. Yeah. I struggled all through my 20s with how to wear or what to wear. I had no clue, totally clueless. And I have pictures now that are way too embarrassing even to put on my website.
No. Yeah. So I was just thinking, it's so important for people to hear that because they look at you now and you're drop dead gorgeous and you've got it totally going on. And well, Ginger can do it. She's an image consultant, but how could I possibly? Blah, 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 blah.
And I share that story and in more depth many, many times. I show pictures of me without makeup. You know, I'm a big believer that I need to show that vulnerability so that people don't think that I was from birth. I knew how to dress myself. I did not. Plus, I was a teenager in the 1970s. Definitely the ugliest decade in fashion history ever.
Oh, come on.
Ever. Oh, my gosh.
I kind of like the boho look there, that whole hippie vibe.
You're younger than I am, I think. So you went through it when you were, I don't know, having fun. For me, it was like, I've got to wear skirts that are 5 inches above my knee again. And I have to wear those hideous, color combinations. Yuck. Somewhere I knew they weren't good, but I didn't know what else to do.
So would you be willing to talk to us a little bit about what drew you to image consulting and that transformation that you went through?
Yes. Yeah. Well, I always had an interest in makeup and fashion. I used to drive one of the little girls that I used to babysit for crazy because she had the prettiest hair, and I knew nothing about hair, but I was always putting it up in different ways and playing with her hair. Beyond that, I didn't know what to do. And, back when I was a teenager, there were no makeover TV shows. Fashion magazines weren't that great. We had Red Book in our house, which was fine, but not a fashion magazine. And, there was no internet. So there was no access to learning about fashion, except, who I grew up with, family and friends. And, they all looked nice, but nobody really had a great penchant for how to put things together. And so I struggled a lot. And it also it's not like I went and spent time hanging out at the mall with friends. We didn't do that back then. So I wasn't kind of in the know. And I was a music major in college. And when I got out of there, I went into the arts. I worked in the arts for a little while, and then I ended up working at MIT doing word processing. I was basically a glorified typist, but I was learning. My professor at MIT was the first one to get his own computer. I mean, this is how long ago it was. I know, scary. And all of a sudden, I'd been there for 5 years doing that, and I thought, this is not what I want to do with the rest of my life. I have other interests, but I didn't know how to go about finding them. I even went to modeling school when I was 21 because I thought, well, maybe I can learn about fashion there. No such luck. What I learned about there, though, was something that really helped me in developing the Who Taught You How to Dress program, the part about going internally and looking at who you are, because that's not something that they were looking at in the modeling industry at all back then. And then all of a sudden, I was about to turn 30. And I heard about a woman who was offering a 3-day workshop on what she called fashion, color, and image. I thought, that sounds like fun. And it was amazing. I was in it for about an hour. I knew just listening to her, she was so glamorous. I just knew that that's who I wanted to be. I was living in Cambridge. I tell people it's the earthy, crunchy capital of the world, and was even more so back then. And I'm not earthy crunchy. I admire it, and there were people who I just want to be like them, but I'm not. And trying to do it, I felt silly. So she was able to help me to express who I was in a way that really made me excited. And I realized that not only did it help me, but immediately I realized I had an affinity for it. And that I could help others to be able to do the same. So that was the beginning. I started my business the day after the workshop.
Wow.
Yes.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yes.
So that was quite an epiphany.
Totally. Absolutely. Changed my life forever.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's amazing. So, and I think that that's a really great story and example for other people who maybe don't know exactly what they want, is you followed that small inner voice. I always talk about it as hot and cold. That game you played when you were a kid where if someone would hide something and they would say you're hot or you're cold or you're hot or colder. You don't have to know the whole picture. Yes. You don't have to know what the end result is going to be. You just follow that. Is it making me feel better? Is it I'm excited? Okay, I'll take this little step in that direction. Yes. Does it make me feel constricted? Well, this maybe isn't the right thing.
Well, even my working at MIT was perfect because as my business grew, I was able to cut back my hours there and keep full benefits up to a certain point. It was just perfect. It was totally perfect. The whole thing worked out the way it was supposed to.
Well, I'm so glad that it did because you were so phenomenal at what you do.
Thank you.
Really a master at what you do.
I'm blessed. I really am. I'm so lucky. I work with amazing clients and I do something I love every single day.
Yeah, and that's what else could you want?
Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
It's the best.
That's amazing.
Yes.
So for the people who are out there who want to feel more confident, who maybe, I work with a lot of people who want to be on stage and they need that extra polish. What are some quick tips that you can give people to really, pull it together so they look really pulled together and authentic, so they're honoring who they are at their core and expressing themselves. Maybe they are crunchy, maybe they're more romantic or whatever it is. So how can anybody have that little extra polish?
Well, as we talked about, color is critical. So find out, if you don't already know what colors you look great on you. There are 4 colors that I find work really well on a lot of people that I can share if you'd like me to.
Well, yeah.
One is forest green. The other is watermelon. Another one is a deep teal. And the 4th one is a beautiful deep periwinkle, that blue purple.
Oh, yeah.
Those work on a lot of people. So if you're in doubt, those are great colors. One of the things that we didn't talk about today that I think is really important is fit. Making sure that your clothes fit you perfectly so they look really expensive, even if they're not. And if that means taking a $20 blouse and spending $20 to tailor it, then you do. But having something fit you beautifully and making sure that when you put it on, you smile, that it makes you really happy every day when you get dressed. And I also, I don't want to say don't do online shopping, but go to the stores.
Oh, yes.
Go to the stores. Find 2 or 3 stores that feel like they express who you are and that have the kind of clothes that you want at your budget, and start to put things on, because you look at things online and then you get them and you go, oh, I didn't know this fabric was like this, or I didn't know this was 4 inches longer than I thought, or it doesn't fit right in the shoulders, and it's aggravating, I find.
Oh, and it's such a pain to return it, too.
Totally.
So, yeah,
yes.
I agree.
So go to the stores and start looking around. Start trying different things on, things you've never tried on before.
Yes.
You know what? Just because you try it on doesn't mean you have to keep it. Put it back on. If it doesn't work for you, put it back on the rack. But it's a way to figure out, to get out of any rut that you might be in, and to really look at who you are and how you want to express yourself. You'll be surprised when you start, playing a little bit. Things will surprise you.
Yeah, and the thing that I love about all of this work is that confidence piece that comes from it, because when you feel it, when you feel like the things that you're wearing make you look great, make you feel great, you exude a different energy, and that is magnetic. It's totally magnetic.
Yes. And the last thing you want to be is on stage feeling self-conscious.
Absolutely.
So that self-confidence is critical, and you really have to listen to your heart, and you have to make sure you've completed the outfit, that you don't say, oh, this is all great, except, well, I know my shoes aren't that great, and I don't feel that good in them.
That is
Find shoes that are good.
That is a great tip. That is a great tip. I love that tip, because it's like the woman that we would come full circle now. The woman that we talked about at the beginning who had the 2-year-old, she doesn't have to think about it anymore.
Yes.
That piece is handled. Like Olivia on Scandal. You just want to handle it, right? You want to handle it so you don't have to think about it anymore.
You said it. Yes.
So if somebody wants to get in touch with you, buy your book, go through your program, how can they find you?
Well, they can find me at my website, which is totalimageconsultants.com. I do have a free report that is how to stop wasting money on things you never wear. And they can either go to my website or to 10fashionsecrets.com. And my book is on Amazon. That's So You, Ginger Burr. If you go there, you can find it there.
Awesome. So 2 last questions. I know we didn't, you don't work with celebrities, but I believe that everybody has star power.
Yes.
And it's star potential, and it's there just waiting to be tapped and refined. So what do you think makes someone a star?
I think it's being authentic. I think it's being willing to stand out in whatever way that is for you. I call it finding your inner sparkle. And
your outer sparkle.
And your outer sparkle. Yes, having the inner sparkle be translated to the outer sparkle. Absolutely. And being brave. So when you think that, oh my gosh, I can't get up in front of those people, or I can't wear that, take a breath and say, is that really me? Is there something in me that longs to wear that, and there's just a little bit of fear? If so, go and do it.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. Yeah. Take that step, because what's the worst that can happen?
Yeah.
It's clothes.
Yeah.
It's not cancer. It's clothes, people.
Right.
It's not cancer.
Yes.
So I thought that was great. And the last thing that I always ask people, today, as you're sitting here with me in this space, what are you most grateful for?
Well, I guess this is obvious, but I'm grateful I've been able to do this for 28 years of my life. Since I left MIT, I've never had another job outside of that. And I get to help women. I get to watch them blossom. I get to work from my home, which I love to do. There's nothing about my business that I don't love. And every night I go to sleep just reciting things that I'm grateful for as I fall asleep. And number one, well, first is on my bed. And my second thing is my business and the women I've been able to serve that day.
That's great. That's great. I love that. And I'm grateful for you, and I'm grateful for all the things that you bring to the world and for helping women really tap into their authenticity and bringing them confidence and putting a smile back on their face. And you share your talents and gifts with the world. So thank you very much. And thank you for coming here today.
Thank you. I so appreciate you as well.
Thank you. And thank you all for joining us as well. Until next time, here's to hitting all your high notes. Take care. Bye-bye. Hi everyone, it's Heather again. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Thrive. Every week we try to bring you people and information to help you change your life for the better, to grow your business, to expand your thinking, and to open your heart. If you did enjoy this content, I would so appreciate it if you would go to iTunes and review us. Let us know how we're doing. We'd love to hear your thoughts and your feedback. And if you found this information helpful or useful in any way, please share it on out. Let your friends and family know about Thrive. And finally, if you'd like to know more about me, you can visit me at heatherpoduska.com. Until next time, here's to hitting all your high notes.